and gentlemen, it's an important social issue. At a time when we are talking about women's rights, there is a debate about men's rights as well. Equal rights for men. Are women misusing their rights, the laws that exist against men? Can men sometimes be caught on the wrong foot? And coming up with a commercial film on that is Bandar, and joining me today on this debate on whether men can really be wronged, something that socially may be difficult to accept, but is a point that is extremely close to the heart of people who worked on this film, Bandar. Joining me tonight in the studios, Bobby Deol. Well, who doesn't know him? Lord Deol is what we all call him. Dar bhi lagta hai, Lord Deol. And every time I call you that, I almost imagine a glass on your head and you breaking into a dance. But Nikhil Dwivedi, producer and actor, working on a subject of this kind. Nikhil, close to your heart?
The script was, the subject was, and the people who got involved eventually became close to my heart.
Also joining me, Deepika, Narayan, Bhardwaj, director, Ekam Nyay Foundation, feels strongly about issues of these kinds, about men rights. And we have Ruchi Narayan, also a film director, joining us live from Mumbai. Ruchi Narayan, who of course, like most of us, think that women are the wronged party, men, well, not quite. That's the perception. Nikhil, don't frown at me. But the topic. Nikhil, let me begin with you. Why did you think a film of this kind was important at a time when we are still debating and discussing and unraveling the Twisha case in Bhopal, and Giribala Singh, her mother-in-law, the statements she's made, reverberating and extremely obnoxious statements and point of view that she brings to the table. In the middle of that, you bring out a film. Do you think men are wronged party?
Our film is not against women. Whatever is happening with Twisha, we have been observing too. Very unfortunate. Needs to be investigated. If there is a crime involved over there, people need to be punished. This is not an anti-women film. It's a pro-justice film. We have to understand that nobody is saying please don't believe women when they have been wronged. But you have to believe in justice as well. We want to believe in justice more than we want to believe a particular gender. And that is the hallmark of our constitution, our law. This is where the principle on which our democracy stands. Justice needs to prevail. If you feel in any sense that justice is being not met or it's being curtailed, I think it's time to discuss it at least. In fact, why just us filmmakers that we are making a film? The Supreme Court itself has said that it needs to, the due process of law needs to be followed.
Well, Bobby Deol, the role of a man being wronged, it's going to be difficult for people to accept it because it's unconventional. Normally, women are seen as the wronged party. How do you think this film, this debate is important to be held at this moment?
Well, when I do films, usually stories are a reflection of what happens in a society. The story is not created just as a fiction. It is influenced by what happens in the society. And I totally agree with the fact that in our country and in many countries, women go through more suffering than men do. Yeah. And it is still existent, And it's sad that that happens. But then there are men who've been through certain things which was unfair to what happened with them. So it's not that I'm trying to say that women are always wrong or men are always right. It's not like that. I've grown up in an environment where I've seen myself. I mean, I have sisters and I used to always be worried, unki shaadi hogi, kaun se ghar mein jayenge, unke saath kaise honge wahan, uske in-laws. Dar lagta hai. Because we live in a very we've grown up in a very male chauvinist kind of a world, you know, where men have always been the dominating factor. And luckily for me, I have so many sisters that fear is always there. And I don't take that away from playing this character. This character is not trying to go against that. This character is trying to show that justice has to be prevail. Until that is not done properly, there are some people who have not done something will be victims to that. It's not about showing that only men are getting victimized with all this. You know, I don't think that. I think if you really look at the percentage of how many women go through suffering, it's huge. You know, but it's a story, and it's not trying to make a statement of this issue. It's trying to show a story about what is existing, and I believe that when I do work, it's more about doing a character. I mean, I've played negative characters, you know, who have been awful, you know, but I'm playing characters. And as an actor, it's challenging for me as an actor to portray people who I'm not. That doesn't mean I have become them, you know, I just portray it for that moment. So for me as an actor, I look at work in that manner, you know. And yes, this film is not trying to show that women have taken the power of accusing men. It's showing that when people take advantage of the fact that the law has been written in a certain way and try to use it for their advantage is when things go wrong, you know.
Well, true that, but Ruchi, Narayan, do you believe that this film somewhere or the other, or just the theme somewhere or the other, might take away from the fight that exists for women? Are laws misused? Yes, maybe true, but at a time, and I'm talking about the point in time where we are standing, where the Twisha case is extremely raw and real in our minds. Where do you think this concept really goes?
Hi everyone, and thank you for having me in this discussion. My heart definitely goes out to anyone who's traumatized or suffering, be it men or women. But as Bobby himself said, the numbers are disproportionate, hugely disproportionate. We are in a country where the reported number of rapes per minute is 18, and we all know that the real number would be far more because women don't report these things. And one of the reasons they don't report is because society itself, their first reaction, because we are in a patriarchal society, the first reaction is, do you believe her? So you're already coming at it with disbelief in what the woman says. What is the proof? Do you think he could do this? Why would she say that? So when we already have this embedded in everyone in society. So to make a film about it from a particular case or a number of cases where men are falsely accused, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but the percentage is very small. And the fact is that it's not just that films are influenced by life. Films, we know, influence society. And when films are made or when they're released, say at this time, I mean, they do influence and prompt a discussion about that particular case. And especially, you know, I'm sure the film, from the trailer, it looks extremely well made. I'm sure it's extremely well performed. So when it elicits that kind of, you know, even empathy, it kind of tilts the conversation and takes away from the context that we are living in, which is the reality.
Absolutely fair point. And Deepika, that's the point I want to say. In any case in our society, it's so patriarchal, so male dominated. Nobody wants to believe the woman. For a woman to actually come out and admit that she's been wronged, whether it is a rape, whether it is a Me Too movement, it's taken people years to come out and express. And at the moment, there is this live conversation that is going on about Twisha, and I keep coming back to it because it is a case. It's not a case, it's a life. It's a life. Twisha was a live woman, young, who had to live life, experience so many things, and look at what has come out into the public domain. I'm not getting into who's wrong, who's right, but in the public domain, that she was being questioned about her promiscuity, she was being questioned about whether the child she was carrying was her own, and the questions were coming from the mother-in-law. Even after her death, there was no dignity in death. The mother-in-law gave interviews to every news channels saying that मेरी बेटी पेड़ों को पानी नहीं देती थी, खाना नहीं बनाती थी. In that conversation, if it takes away from the fight of even one woman a concept that the men have been wrong, do you think it's fair? I'm asking you that out there.
Navika, first of all, I would like to actually thank the entire team of Bandar to actually be making this film in the first place, because I strongly believe justice needs to be there for everyone, and it cannot be a factor of gender. That's what my work has focused on for the last 14 years. It is extremely, extremely tough to even speak up for men. Very tough. And why should we not talk about lives? When you said Twisha was a life, today Aman Dwivedi has died by suicide in Kanpur, making very serious allegations against his wife and mother-in-law. Judge Aman Sharma in Delhi died by suicide, a young judge who accused his wife and sister-in-law of torturing him. His father was told by his wife, get out, otherwise I'm going to call the police right now. And then he hanged himself. In the last 5 or 6 days, we have documented 20 cases of men dying by suicide or being murdered by their wives. Are these not life, is my only question. And let me be very, very candid over here. Laws have been made for a purpose to serve justice to women. If we are going to today have 4-year-old relationship, 5-year-old relationship, 10-year-old consensual relationship being reported as rape, and when we talk about numbers, I've been researching these for the last so many years, Navika. Half of the reported rape cases in India, almost half, are that of rape on false promise of marriage. And we see these cases every single day. They have been in relationship for the longest of time, and just because the marriage did not happen, it is reported as rape. Now imagine this scenario where a woman takes a stand, the man she has been dating, she does not want to get married to him for XYZ reasons. Imagine if we say that now you have committed rape because you're not marrying this man. That does not happen.
But it may be a breach of promise?
It may be or maybe not a breach of promise, but what is the immediate aftermath? The man is jailed. These men who are lodged in jail on the charges of rape, and I remember this statement which has come out in the trailer also. There's one guy who is telling the character of Bobby that say that you have come for murder, but don't say you have come for rape. I recently met a man who was sodomized inside the jail. People who come on charges of rape or POXO charges, no matter how innocent they are treated the worst inside our jails. If there's an innocent life, why should we not talk about this, Navika? And it is very sad that all the time, there's such brushing aside of slightest conversation when we talk about men. This is Sham Ruhil poured with 5 liters of acid just next door Sonipat, not very far away from Delhi. Just because he said no to a woman he had met a couple of months ago for marriage. 5 liters of acid on his entire body. He was a young boy of 21 years. Nobody spoke about this life. This is Surat Saini, Delhi case. His wife has filed multiple rape cases, married multiple men. He went to the police, said that his wife is threatening him of killing him. This woman pours hot boiling water on him mixed with chili. Nobody in the media reported it. We don't even speak up about these cases.
Ruchi,
so the conversation
that's the other side of the coin. How do you respond?
Like I said, I'm not saying those things don't happen. The percentage is minuscule. It is really minuscule. I don't know where the statistic that you've got is from, because that's not an NCRB statistic for sure.
That is NCRB data.
Half the cases are not.
Oh, so because it's minuscule, Nikhil, should it not be debated? That, to my mind, may not be the best argument, Ruchi.
I actually agree with Ruchi, what she said earlier. She said, art is meant to disturb you if it's not entertaining you. A discussion, it has to invoke a discussion. There was a film recently made, a good film made by a very sensible lady, Meghna Gulzar. Deepika Padukone played a very important part in it. It was called Chapak, based on the acid victims. If you go by the statistics, if somebody, even a man, starts to argue, oh, this is a small number, I think he should not only be condemned, it's something that,
so Ruchi,
even if it's
Ruchi,
one attack.
minuscule statistics, not an argument. That, even if one case is not dealt with fairly and justice is not done, it's one too many. Give me another argument that you can come up with to avoid the debate that Deepika is asking about.
No, what I said in the beginning is, of course, there has to be justice for everyone. The laws are actually, there's a lot of things you have to go through in terms of legal process to even get a conviction, which is why conviction rates in violence against women are so low. They are like 25%. And it's not because they're false cases, it's because the criterion you require to get a conviction cannot always be met on technical grounds. So in terms of men seeking justice, those caveats are there. They, of course, everyone has a right to, pursue justice for themselves. And there's a due course for it. When you start talking about these highlighting, I would say, because one of the arguments is the media doesn't report it. When you start highlighting things which are out of context, the conversation and the impression shifts and takes away from the reality of the country we live in. Women today
with that,
violence,
we take these
trauma.
cases out of context, and therefore if media doesn't report injustice to men, it's fine, it's kosher.
I am someone who believes that justice needs to be treated in the right manner. It can be a woman, it can be a man. Definitely, as Ruchika has been saying, that the percentage of women being abused and treated badly is higher than the men. But that doesn't mean when a man is treated badly that you don't look into it in the right justice way, And I feel that there are sad stories about men who have been through so much, which should be spoken about. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be films made about women being treated badly. It's not like that. It's just a story that we've come up with. So I just feel that because I have sisters, I feel more with what she's saying, because it does make me feel that way most of the time. And I feel, because I have seen some marriages not working, I've seen marriages that have not been treated right. But that's not always the case. In percentage-wise, yes, it might be more, but that 1% or 2% of men who get into the situation where they have done nothing wrong and they get punished for that.
And Nikhil, that's where I come into this. Is the process the punishment? Because if you begin from the premise of a rape allegation, jail immediately, and that process probably is the punishment. Is that why you're saying there should be?
It definitely is. Also, it's a double-edged sword. For the right reasons, a sexual crime against women is perceived to be in the lowest of hierarchy, which is the good thing. But also, when an innocent man is accused of it. He bears the brunt of it without actually having done anything, because the society has judged him. He's thrown out of a job. It's as if you can actually commit a violent crime where you can hit somebody, you can assault someone, you can even murder, and you don't suffer that humiliation as you suffer if you have committed if you're accused of a sexual crime. If somebody has done it so, there cannot be any escape from punishment. That's where the law enforcement agency and the judiciary needs to come in. And Ruchi is asking the right questions. Is the process okay, and where is the conviction rate? But that shouldn't stop artists of creating something that is worth a discussion. That's for us to actually add, and who knows, nobody has watched the film yet. Maybe we are also holding the law enforcement agencies and the system.
Are you? Because I'll tell you, films against the system, great, but they don't bring about change. Does your film do that?
See, we can only attempt it, Navika. It's for all the citizens of the country.
We can continue to lament. We've been lamenting for so long.
Yes, and that's something that, that's we can only vote for a change or lament as citizens. There's not much unless we come on the streets. And when the Nirbhaya case happened, people did come out on the streets, and that's when the law changed. Whether the law really changed for the better is the discussion we must have. Verma Commission maybe didn't look at some of the loopholes that could have been misused. And yes, of course, there is misuse. Does that mean we are saying that the crimes against women have stopped? There is nobody saying that. In fact, our statistics, when we were researching, we feel that the sexual crimes against women have only increased. But even the innocent men are languishing in jails because there are false accusations on them. This is now a discussion. It's worth a discussion after almost 14 years of the laws being changed.
Navika, can I just intervene? Delhi was called rape capital at that time. This is such a shocking data. In the last 4 years, the conviction rate in Delhi have gone down to 4.3%. Out of 3,000 cases tried, only 133 led to conviction. Now, first of all, I'm not debating, or this is not a competition. I'm just putting facts in picture. Now, there are so many cases in which the woman has turned hostile. I can agree, maybe 10, 20, 50. There are various reasons for which a woman may turn hostile, but these are hundreds of cases. Delhi High Court has said that to obtain compensation money, false cases are filed, then the woman turns hostile, the money has already been given. In Delhi, 88 crores have been distributed in compensation, but have they gone to the people who actually suffered? Here is a case of Captain Rakesh Walia in Delhi, Navika. Please invite him to your show sometimes. A retired captain of the Indian Army, a cancer survivor, met a woman for just 1 hour for a professional discussion for translation and digital marketing of his book. The woman ended up accusing him of rape, brutal rape. This woman has lodged 9 rape and molestation cases across Delhi in the last couple of years. And these are not just examples or numbers.
Well, we can't be the judiciary. The conviction rates could also be lower because the process of law in our country does take time. But that we are debating this topic, I don't know about the commercial success, Nikhil. That's a rider I will always put, because traditional, conventional stories, easier to accept in the human mind, whether a breakaway film of this nature, but it brings to the table a debate. That is something that I will agree with you. And Bobby, wronged man lagte nahi ho with all of that. But the trailer and you being put in jail, maybe it will convince some people that it's time to debate the issue. I don't know what really happens as far as the commercial success goes. But when it is Deepika and Ruchi, it's statistics versus statistics. I would just stop to say this. One case of injustice is one too many. If it is happening, do we need to debate it as a society? Well, you, the viewer, be the judge. Thank you very much to my guests, Bobby, Nikhil, Deepika and Ruchi, for joining me on the Newshour tonight. Thank you very much, viewers. Good night, be safe. I'll be back tomorrow.